may tanong ako kaugnay dun sa Memorandum of Understanding or Memorandum of Agreement ng DepEd under Brother Armin Luistro with APEC. No? So yung Ayala Group and Pearson. No? Pearson is a British, a UK education multinational. So this is a global corporation. This Memorandum of Agreement was signed in, I think, 2013. No? So, tapos, supposedly subject to renewal every year ito. No? Ngayon, I highlight this because para sa amin, medyo this raises some questions for us, no? Kasi, meron kayong manual of regulations for private schools, no? Which supposedly covers all private schools. Pero sa bawa na ito, you agreed, DepEd agreed to exempt APEC, Ayala, and Pearson from the regulations in your manual. No? So, for instance, kasi ang tinutulak ng Ayala at Pearson, the so-called low-cost education model. So, para daw, they can offer senior high school education, not just senior high school, junior high school and senior high school education at a low cost. No? At ang isang cost cutting daw nila will be, ma-exempt sila from your manual which says they have to have a title, they have to own land, they have to have certain facilities like libraries, laboratories, and so on. No? So dito, yung mga higanting korporasyon ng Ayala at Pearson, in-exempt ng DepEd. Sabi ko, sige, yung ibang mga private school dyan, required kayo na meron kayong titulo, meron kayong lupa, meron kayong mga ganitong facilities. Pero si Ayala at si Pearson, di kailangan. In fact, in your MOA, it says there, please go back.
Please run up.
Yes. No, okay. In your MOA, it says, the determination by the DepEd of the adequacy of school facilities of APEC schools shall be based solely on the APEC model as described in Appendix A and shall be on an examination of the school facilities as a whole. Hence, individual components of the APEC model described in Appendix A relevant to facility adequacy shall not by themselves be considered grounds to declare the facilities of an AP school inadequate, provided that the AP school complies with the AP model and health and safety standards in determining adequacy of school facilities. So basically, sinabi nyo sa MOA, yung standards na susundin ng APEC ay yung standards na itatakda ng APEC mismo. No? So in other words, my point here is, talagang binigyan ng special treatment ang APEC, no, ng DepEd para makapagpatakbo sila ng mga low-cost private schools, no? Again, at may yung kasama sa nandiyan sa MOA nila, there is a target for ambitious expansion, no, of the APEC. Una-una sa NCR, eventually nationwide. At nasa business model talaga nila na low cost yung tuition nila at yung tuition nila itatapat nila dun sa amount na binibigay nyo sa voucher program.
You may answer.
So in other words, yung business model ni Ayala, tutubo sila dun sa 23 billion na inilalaan natin sa General Appropriations Fund. No? Ngayon, paano naman yung mga private school na required na sumunod sa inyong manual of regulations? At dahil sumusunod sila, hindi nila matapatan yung low cost ng APEC. No? So in other words, there is no level playing field.
Ask the Secretary to please reply to the question.
Yes.
You were saying a while ago that these are subject to renewal. This happened before July 1, 2016. All contracts that the DepEd has entered into, especially in private schools, will be reviewed. And such, if there are changes which are necessary and required in compliance with law and in compliance with our own policies, that will be done. And our legal office, I just instructed him to give me a full report because, on this particular matter.
So, ang tanong po, narinig na po ba for this school year, yung MOA ng APEC? No? Kasi every year, supposedly, i-review yan eh. And they will be allowed to open more.
Right now under review, and even the gospel program is also
Under review.
Yung PAEC system, tinitingnan din namin dahil may observation, for example, ang commission and audit that it is not necessarily subject to audit. Kasi the auditing code provides that every single centavo of public funds, wherever it is located, to whomever it is given, wherever it is housed, has to be placed and audited. So we are also looking into that.
Isang tanong po, yes, bukod sa Ayala, Pearson po, meron na pa po bang ibang MOA with similar following a similar low-cost model? Kasi alam ko may mga ibang malalaking grupo rin na gusto rin pumasok sa ganitong negosyo eh. Nakita nila may 23 billion dito na budget ang gobyerno, they can capitalize literally on this. At ang natitreaten dito, yung mga traditional private schools natin na hindi makakakompete. No, sa malaki na ang kapital nila, meron pang international partner, tapos may special treatment pa na binigay ang DepEd. No? So, meron po bang ibang MOA pa in existence na katulad
Katulad
nito?
ko lang sa legal namin, mayroong mga contracts na ganyan, pero maliliit sila. Ito ang siguro, it would be this would be the biggest. But we will, I assure you, we will look into it very carefully.
Siguro yung mga taga-NCR na nanonood ng sine sa Ayala Malls, pina-advertise nila yun eh. You know, you see the APEC School, at pinagmamalaki nila na libre ang kanilang private school
Please
education.
wrap up, Your Honor. Your time,
So,
sir.
thank you. No? My concern here is how the delivery of of senior high school education is being privatized and handed over for profit to these big corporations. Not to mention yung lower quality dahil sa low-cost model. No? So, thank you for that, Madam Chair.
Process, Madam Chair, is we are now undergoing that process. Review talaga yan because siyempre, we have to review earlier policies. And as I said, even the GASP system is being reviewed because this is assistance given to private schools. Thank you for the information.
Okay, thank you. Next.